So we're going with this. I think we're good. Okay. So how's everyone doing? How's your day so far? You had the lunch, chilling. Huh? Okay. Is everything going good? Okay. Lunch boxes are always welcome in the classroom. So, as you always know, my name is Farzan, and today we're going to talk about daylight and visual comfort. It's super important. What we're going to cover for today, the plan is to go through what the visual comfort is, daylight metrics, measurement devices, and a happy hour where we're going to do our group project with the device that I have where you're going to experiment some cool stuff today. So, what you're going to learn today is that how to measure daylight and why it is important for us, right? Because right now we're sitting in a room that we have no daylight. Is it good? Is it bad? We're going to figure that out in the coming up slides. Okay, now let's talk about it. What are some pleasant scenarios of experiencing daylight that you had? Probably hiking on in a mountain or somewhere. What were some of the good experiences you had with daylight?
Sitting in an open area, like in front of the sea.
In front of the sea? That's one of the things you want to chill and get the tan body, you know, getting summer body ready.
Yeah, for daylight remind me more sunlight, natural light.
Mm-hmm. Sunlight.
Yes.
And how does it impact you? Does it impact your mood? Does it make you like?
Yes, so I'm happy when in a sunny day. Yeah, it affects my mood.
Okay. How about you, Alex? Do you have any pleasant experience with daylight?
No, I'm only thinking that my family back in Europe, we have an hour difference, so when it changes here, it does not change the year, and it's a different concept. It's not the actual.
Yeah, that's more. Yeah. Okay, but do you enjoy daylight in general? Do you enjoy the sun, or
Yeah,
you prefer the cloudy days?
very much so.
Okay, that's good. So you see, all of these answers they are somehow contributing to how important daylight is. Daylight can impact your sleeping rhythms, known as circadian rhythm. It can impact your mood. It can impact your even body as getting that summer body ready, right? So, with that being in mind, why is visual comfort important? Now, if we have the sun, we go to the beach, we don't care. We want as much as UV and daylight as we want on our skins. Why do we care about visual comfort? Why is that important? Right now, are you having visual comfort? Can you see everything easily? Like, do you feel you need more sun or more light in here? How do you feel?
For me, for computer screen, it's very important. Yeah, too much light hurts my eyes, and yeah, it's important.
It's important. So you want more light in your work?
Reading something.
Very good. How about the others?
I think it affects your perception of the overall interaction. If the light is too low and you don't interact well with the class, you don't interact well with the activity you are doing. That's 2 cents.
Yeah. How about you? Do you have any opinions or?
I just like daylight, like when it's closed or it's nighttime, you feel like your body is more sleepy, more relaxing
That's very
than
true.
in the morning.
Yeah, that's for sure. The other day I was telling my friends that we haven't seen sunlight for 3 days. Now it's time for me to hibernate because that's normally what happens in winter, right? So all you said is important, especially the performance. The number one is desk and working. When we are working on a specific task, we need a specific amount of light. When we want to go to sleep, we want to shut down everything and make it absolutely dark. But if you're working on a task, then we might need a little bit more light. If we are trying to see something, then we might be even needing more light than ever before, any of the regular tasks we do. The second one is performance, exactly what you referred to. Different scenarios require different daylight and light situation in general. And last, you want to always maintain the comfort because you don't want people to have problem. We all hate eye doctors when they put the light in our eyes, right? That's a very unpleasant scenario and we don't like that. So remember, comfort is the most important thing for us as the building engineers. Normally, we associate light and daylight with rays. That's very important. That's the number one thing for us to see our surrounding environment. If you remember Lord of the Rings, if you are old enough as probably me, Lord of the Rings always wanted to see something, and there was those rays that shows where the eye is looking at, right? So that light is the number one important component for us when we are trying to see stuff. This is the device, we call it a locksmeter. I have one here. They have with many different types and forms. This is one I have. You're going to have a group work with it coming up. We call it a locksmeter, and the unit for measuring light is in general lux, right? That's the unit that we measure the available daylight in a room with it. But now let's say we measure the available light here, right? How do we know if it's enough or not? There are many different metrics. You're going to learn about all of them in this course. Today we are focusing on one of the most important ones called useful daylight illuminance. There are 4 ranges for it, less than 100 lux. So if the number on this reads as 100 lux, it's less than 100 lux. It means the light is normally insufficient and you cannot do your task that you are planning to do, right? And the second part, if the reading is between 100 to 300, it is sufficient, but you might need artificial lighting. If you're watching a movie, anywhere around 100 to 300 is fine, but if you want to, for example, read a book, then you might need more lighting available there. Between 300 to 3000 is normally good. We consider that enough and sufficient, and more than 3000, it's the beginning of having a little bit of glare, visual discomfort, and even having too much light, right? Now, we have all those ranges, right? Question for you. Do you think we will ever need a useful daylight illuminance more than 3000?
In routine work, daily?
In general, do you think there is a position that we might need it? And think about it in a way that as a building engineer, you'll be dealing with regular buildings, performance stages, you're dealing with a lot of different types of buildings, even jails, hospitals. What do you think? Is that more than 3000 ever useful? Any ideas, yes or no's?
I think so, because when it comes to human and our eyes adjust to the light, it should be at the same rate, maybe less than 3000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great answer. Others, opinions, ideas, opeds?
Surgery?
A surgery, yeah, that's important, very important for hospitals. You need a lot of light for that. Any other one, anyone else? Okay, now these lighting levels depend on the building and the task that you are doing. There are points that you need more than 3000 lux, right? Imagine this scenario, you're designing a performance and an archangel or Gabriel from heaven is descending, right? And you want the people to be gasping, wow, okay? And at that point, as a building engineer or a lighting engineer, you're supposed to create an atmosphere where people can gasp, where people can feel the shock. But generally in the daily routines for us as human beings in regular buildings, not hospitals, not jails, not performance stages, we are normally good between 300 to 3000 range. Any questions so far? Nobody? Okay. This is the device. You already learned about the device. This is what we have. We're going to do a group project. I thought Morgan is going to be part of the group project as well, but we're going to do it as 3, no problem. So normally when we want to measure stuff and we have this, we need to know how to measure the building, right? Number one, there should be no shade on the globe that we have here, right? So you should not stand like this on this because it impacts it. It should be horizontal for our use today. I'm going to teach you later on why we need it vertically maybe, but today it's going to be fully horizontal, okay? That's the number one thing. We just turn it on. And I'm going to set the scale for you as well. There we go. So it says that the scale is 1x1. It means that the reading is true. There should not be multiplied by any number. And the reading is here. I can put it here in the group because it's a small group. As you can see, the shading can significantly impact the readings, right? So how are we going to do this and measure the light in the room? Because the room is too big, right? Do I keep the device here? Do I keep the device in the center? Do I keep the device under the light? Because all of that impacts it and you're going to experiment it in the group. It depends on where you hold it. But there are international regulations and standards for doing that. Normally you divide your room. That's a more sophisticated version. The regular version is that you divide the room to 9 squares. That's it. Okay, so you make imaginary squares here, and then you measure the middle of each square, and then you create an average from those 9 numbers. Is that clear so far, how the grading works, grid lines work? Okay. And that is how you're going to do it. One is going to use the device, the other two is going to make sure that there's no shading, there's no wrong actions of measuring it. One is going to create the plan, and one is going to do the readings. Questions so far? Okay, great, let's get it started, people. Let's get it going.
Yeah, you can start.
Yeah, you can start.
Who wants to write? Oh, okay, I'll write it down.
Should I start from corner?
So you should have the imaginary plan that Alex has, and I suggest that
Yeah.
all of you three, you go to the same side so you can all see the reading,
Okay.
and you can use the box as the, what do you call it?
Oh, that's okay.
Is that okay?
It's 200.
290?
Yeah.
Is everything okay? Do you think the horizontal leveling is fine right now?
Yeah.
Is it, yeah, very good. So it should be normally in the middle. You're doing good, Elham, but it might be better to have it here. And one thing I want you to experiment is that what happens if you put it next to the light or if you put it next to the wall? Try to look at the reading, three of you.
Yeah, it's
This is under the light.
Yeah, to divide the room in 3, this is 1/3,
Yeah.
right?
We're
So
doing
you
it
can put-
imagine. Yeah. And Alex, focus on the numbers as well. Look at it.
300.
It's 300, and now move it next to the wall or to the corner. Move it to the corner and see what happens. What is the reading now, people?
It's 127.
See, it impacts it, right?
Yeah.
So,
So that's it. So for the sake of time, I'm going to skip the 9 squares because it's going to be taking a lot of time. Thank you guys, you can sit. Thank you so much. And guys, what you just experiment is one of the things that even engineers in software development experimented. Tonight when you're sleeping and when you are at home, try to look at the corners of your walls. They're normally darker. Do you see them? Even in this room, the corners are darker. Why is that? Because the right reflection from the stance of a statistical analysis does not hit that corner enough. That's why normally the corners are darker. Okay? So that's it. What did you find so far? Do you think the lighting is good from the 1 point that you, I know it was just 1 point, but how do you feel about it? Do you think 300 is enough according to the daylight chart that we have?
Yeah, I think it's between 300 and 3000.
Okay, 300 and 3000. And how do you feel about it? Do you there could be more light here? You could enjoy for more lighting?
Maybe in certain areas, like in the middle here, it's more light than.
Right, certain areas. That's very true. That's going to be the assignment. So today, what we learned is that we use the lux meters to measure lux. We divide the room to 90 squares. That's the simplest method. There are more sophisticated methods that we can do it. You can check the range to see which range it is falling within, and then you can come up with recommendations. Recommendation is technically the assignment. I'm going to post that on Brighterspace, and then you will see that. You don't need to do anything about it until next session. That's technically what we learned. The next session is going to have more daylight metrics coming. Yay! And that's it. Any questions for me? Please feel free to ask me.
so that's why I see all the painting imperfections in my house.
That's true.
At night, when I watch TV and the TV light goes all over the ceiling, and I see all the imperfections
Yeah?
of the drywall work. That's
Possible.
why.
Okay. That's it. Thank you guys. Have a good day.
Yeah, thank you.